Hi everyone tuning in. So my name is Digi and I am the owner slash organizer slash vague person in charge of CreativeClash. My pronouns are he, him, and this is my emotional support bastard.
Yo, I'm Bastard. I'm the website guy, tech nerd, general, all around. It's broken, fix it guy, and my pronouns are he, him.
So this is just a quick content warning. So we have marked this panel as Lime, but we're not actually going to be showing anything specifically explicit. It's just in case we end up verging into adult content mentions, because we are primarily an event that is 18 plus that caters to that kind of thing. So just a note, you're not expecting any dicks out, but we might mention it. And if you have any questions at any point, please just post them in the chat or in our discussion den thread. We'll answer everything at the end. We won't be answering them as and when they come in. Just makes it a bit easier on us that way. So first things first, what is CreativeClash? So it's both the name of our main event and our overall community. It's an 18 plus creative gifting event wherein people join one of two teams and then earn points for their team by creating content for other users. We call these creations attacks, and we try to allow as much freedom as possible for these attacks. So things we allow for attacks in our events would include the standard things like illustrations, animations, but we also do 3D models. We allow physical items or handicrafts, as well as writing, photography, and even music. So we'll explain more on exactly how that works very shortly. This statement is on our website and what our Discord opens with, and is kind of the core ethos of us as an event and a community. So we advocate for the freedom to explore all kinds of fictional media and topics. We're strongly anti-censorship. We are pro-fiction and pro-ship. We believe that everyone has the right to create, consume, and or otherwise partake of any and all fictional content they so desire. And we do not pass judgment on what others create or enjoy, nor on what topics or content they wish to avoid. We want to stress that we advocate for all fictional content. We expect our participants to respect this, and we take action if necessary if users disrespect someone's boundaries. We do not consider generative AI content to be art. We believe in and advocate for the rights of creators. In addition to our stance on fictional content, we accept all good faith identities. We do not require anyone to provide proof of diagnosis nor lived experience. We do require all users to treat each other with respect, and this includes all racial, queer, and or neurodivergent identities. We'd hope that everyone else is on our page with this, but now that all that talk's out of the way, we'll tell you how this works. So, how does it work? If anyone has taken part in Art Fight or any similar competitive creative events, then this might seem familiar to you. But for the sake of making sure that everyone's on the same page, we'll just be explaining this as if you've never heard of this kind of event before. The basic premise is that you sign up to be on a team and earn points for your team by attacking someone else. To attack someone, you depict at least one of their characters in some kind of creative work you make during the event specified. Like, for example, if we were over a month, that would be the month for the event, and you just pick someone's character to draw, write, or whatever you'd like to do. We say creative work because we allow a large variety of work to be submitted. Most people will assume illustrations, but we also allow writing, animations, 3D rendering, physical crafts, music, etc., anything like that. We try not to limit what people can make to allow for as much creative freedom as possible. So even if we don't have a point system for it, we will figure it out because we want you to be able to submit what you find, like what you want as your output. Creating these attacks for other people is the central idea of our event. You create an attack on someone, then submit it for points. We score those points based on several factors, such as if illustrated work is colored or shaded, if the word count of written work, and then those points are all counted together for your overall team. In order to find some very nice victims for your attacks, you can search through a specific area of our website, which is called the Character Hub Forum. This is where people can create a showcase of their characters that they would like to see depicted in their attacks. They will list their content preferences and boundaries, such as what themes or topics they want to see or avoid, and to ensure that you're creating something they would actually consent to their characters being involved in. You can also find an opponent or victim in our aptly named Find an Opponent forum. This is more freeform, where people can post what kinds of things they are looking to create, and users can offer up their characters for use. Now, once you've created an attack, you submit it into the submissions database for that event, and the staff will calculate the points scored for your piece. This is basically a form where you fill in all of the boxes that we've put there for you with the information that we need. You click submit, and we'll then tell you how many points you've been awarded for your efforts. At the end of the event, all of the points are tallied up, and we announce which team has won based on who has had the highest score at the end. It's all just friendly competition. A shorter summary of all the stuff I've just said is you sign up for an event and you're assigned to a team. You look for characters to create something for and find a character from another user. You create your creation and submit it for points for your team, and then repeat the cycle all again until the end of the event. What events do we run? As you can see, there's several. We currently run 4 events throughout the year. Now, we started off just with 1 event a year, and then moved to 2 when people told us they really liked our event and wanted it to come sooner than once a year. From 2, we jumped to 4, as we had some new ideas and new events with different goals and different flavors. In 2025, we went a little bit mad, and we ran 5 events, and honestly, we bit off kind of more that we could choose, so we decided that 4 was sort of our sweet spot. It meant that the events were more evenly spaced, and we didn't feel overwhelmed by having to run things pretty much every month of the year. CreativeClash is our main event, which runs in September. This was the one that started it all, and is the highlight of the year, which draws our most participants and our most submissions. In this event, you sign up for one of 2 teams to create entries featuring the original characters of other participants, and you then earn points for your team by making creations, all of which I've just explained when we mentioned how the event works before. As I said at the beginning, CreativeClash is both the name of our main event and the name of our overall community, just in case that kind of causes any confusion. This is often shortened further to just CC as an abbreviation. Which is kind of funny, considering CitrusCon also gets abbreviated to CC, so a lot of us have kind of been saying, whoa, CC at CC. Mini Clash no longer runs, as it was one of the events we decided to cut. Originally, it was added as a second Clash event, made for people who were really just wanting Creative Clash to run sooner, so it ran about 6 months after the first event did. It had an identical rule set and pretty much the same experience. The only minor change was that we didn't publicly advertise it, and we wanted it to be less stressful to run. We also occasionally tried experimental rules changes before implementing them in a main event. We ended up cancelling this one because it was identical to CreativeClash, and we wanted to focus on events that had more variety and were different. Reverse Clash is intended to be a self-indulgent kind of get shit done event. It previously ran in December, but after some recent feedback about how busy the holidays were, we've since moved it to June, so the next one will run in June of this year. It's called Reverse because you're doing things for yourself and not competing against another team and not picking anyone to be your victim, but you're still creating things to earn points for yourself, basically. We wanted to inspire and motivate people to kind of create things for themselves, like getting ref sheets done, finishing off works in progress, or just trying things outside of your comfort zone. It's basically something to give people a chance to do something nice for themselves. CreativeRimo, you've probably thought from the name that it's like NaNoWriMo, and that's kind of the point. It runs in November, and is something that we started just last year following NaNoWriMo's official closure. It stands for Creative Fiction Writing Month, and is focused on helping to motivate and encourage people to write both original fiction and fan fiction. We have 4 word count goals, so 5,000, 10,000, 25,000, and 50,000. And you earn a badge on our website depending on which goal you meet. We added a few different goals to make it a bit more achievable for people who were busier, or for people who wanted to really extend their reach. You're even allowed to work on existing works in progress because we just wanted to give people an excuse to get writing. And finally, we have Blorbo Bash. This previously ran in June, but we've since moved it to March, and actually, the event opened today. So this event follows similar rules to our main event, however, it's purely based on fandom characters. So it's identical to how CreativeClash runs, except instead of original characters, you list your favourite Blorbos and hunt down other Blorbos that you want to make creations of. So otherwise, you earn points and have teams in the very similar way. 2 seconds, my throat's getting really dry now. How did we start? I'm not gonna lie, we started out of spite. During the summer of 2021, when Artfight drama was at its peak at the time, people were being harassed off the platform, supposedly banned for off-site content, and overall it wasn't a great time to compete in Artfight for certain people. We won't go into all the drama behind Artfight here because it's not what we're about, but if you're interested, we recommend researching it for yourself if you'd like to be fully informed. I decided that I wanted to run my own event with blackjack and hookers. I had the experience of running some online scenes as well as several in-person events, so I mostly knew my way around of how to set things up. I'm not a professional by any means, but I at least had the basic knowledge of how things should work and go together. The event originally started under the name Creative Trading Post, which, in hindsight, sounds kind of boring to me. It quickly changed to CreativeClash at the suggestion of our fledgling Discord community. We initially set things up on Dreamwidth, and the reason we chose Dreamwidth was that it was the only platform at the time that would allow all fictional content, and it didn't require us to pay to set anything up. Before we'd even held our first event, though, we had a call-out post made about us. This post was urging people to avoid our event with the typical kind of rhetoric used against pro-ship or pro-fic folks, like accusing us of being paedophiles and similar horrible things. Ironically, it was actually great publicity for us and gave us a massive surge in new members who came to us specifically because they'd heard that we were pro-fiction and were told not to join us. I mean, at the end of the day, all publicity is good publicity, I guess. So our Discord server was also raided on the back of that, mostly by bots, but by others who were trying to give us abuse. It was what made us tighten our security, which was the beginning of our current user verification system. Despite this backlash, though, or supposed backlash, our first event went ahead in September 2021 with barely any issues, and obviously we're still here today. So fuck you people who said that we wouldn't last a year. What happened next? Me screaming internally that people liked the event is what happened next. After the success of this event, our user base were really hyped that there was an event like ours that was so firmly rooted in pro-fiction and anti-censorship. We quickly decided to have another event sooner than the yearly planned CreativeClash, which was the mini-clash event that I mentioned earlier. So this second, smaller event ran in March 2022. We had some feedback from people that Dreamwidth wasn't really a user-friendly site for anyone who wasn't used to blogging platforms. There was limited ability to ping or tag users when attacking them, and with mini-clash being far more casual, we decided just to forego a full event setup and simply run it on our Discord server. Downside was Discord was a bit awkward to navigate in a way for our event. So whilst it was easier to set up because it was something that a lot of us mod team were familiar with, it also came with a bunch of stricter rules about what content could and couldn't be posted on its platform due to Discord's terms of service. Discord's terms of service has only gone on to change even further and become more strict. There was an argument of kind of like how would Discord know, but it only really takes one person to report us out of anger or poor faith for the whole server to be shut down. Due to this, we've always taken precautions and played by the book, especially as we've gotten very, very big. And once again, this event went ahead hassle-free and was really cementing itself as something that people were interested in the long term. But before the event took place, we were entertaining the idea of running our events on its own site. With how popular even a mini event seemed to be, it further confirmed that the idea was certainly something that the community was looking for. We had several people suggest running it on our own website, similar to other events like Artfight and other such places, and we'd already been entertaining the idea behind the scenes to see what could be done. Having our own website meant that we could have better control over what content we could allow. People could sign up without needing a Discord account or a Dreamwidth account, which was other feedback that we'd got, and we could adjust it to be as user-friendly as possible. The issue was money. We did a small fundraiser though, for the costs, and we set a goal of $300, which we managed to reach within like a week. It was crazy. I'm still really held back by the fact that it got funded so fast, and the fact that an event that hadn't even been going for a year was already being so strongly supported by the community that was building. So after that, it was time to build a website, which is where Bastard comes in.
Website 1.0. So literally, I just kind of showed up with a website one day. Digi mentioned something or other about alternative platforms. I don't know what I snorted, but I had a website up in a day. 1.0 was hosted on Wix, and we used their forum-based software as it was the closest to what we wanted. We had a custom plugin commissioned, so we could have a verification process instead of just instantly joining the website. We even reached a stage where we had some users on the site testing, see if things work smoothly. Please hit my website with hammers so I can fix the damage situation. I spent a couple of months tapping away at it and working with staff over at Wix to improve the forum software. And 6 months later, all going great. We boarded users to prepare for the event, but we all know what 1.0 means in things, don't we? Disaster struck. At 2 a.m, I got a phone call, an actual phone call.
Still so freaking wild.
Which is crazy. Yeah, no, I was so upset. To say that the forum software was being discontinued within the next couple of months, and that despite me having been essentially working for them for free to troubleshoot the software, this had been planned for months prior, and they were very sorry. The greatest annoyance of that phone call was that Wix had been in constant contact with me for literal months about this forum software. It had been a few months of stress testing various site elements for them to fix. Hours and hours of free labor. They'd been talking to me the whole time as if nothing was going on in the background. In reality, they gutted the whole website functionally. Thankfully, they fully refunded our site costs when we weren't going to be continuing with using the service. The only money we lost in the end was funds for the custom plugin we had to commission, because it's not that guy's fault either. In hindsight, we are happy we pulled away from Wix, but at the time, this left us with no website and an event to run within a month.
God, it was such a short turnaround.
The eventual birth of the real site, the good one, the one we have right now. With all the efforts with the Wix site down the drain, we had to start from scratch. I spent several sleepless nights with Digi and another member of the team scouring various platforms, terms of service, and anything promising, but it all fell short as soon as it came to fictional content with taboo subjects. We almost abandoned the idea of a site at all, but a saviour emerged from the mist to offer a hand in support. Our friend of a friend had heard of our project and offered their spare IPS license. IPS is a forum community software that was almost exactly what we were looking for. We just needed to find a host for it. A mod suggested Liberato as a host, back then known as Adult Refuge, who were making services specifically for people who were otherwise being censored online. Their About Us page summarizes perfectly what we also want with our own online space. Remember the days when you could just post whatever you wanted on the internet? Thanks to uncensored online spaces, entire communities of creators and fans were able to fun, community, and support online. But increasingly, creators and fans are finding it more difficult to find welcoming homes online, as platforms tighten their content policies in ways that hurt minorities. This won't end until every corner of the internet has become a sanitized, walled garden for children. Well, we're not having it. We're a group of creators of consensual creative content who won't be told what to do by finance companies, corrupt politicians, or bigots. No matter what you're into, if it's consensual or fictional, we'll host it. And with access to global networks of bulletproof servers, we'll make sure that it can't be taken down. So we had a host, we had our software, we just needed to throw it all together and get things rolling. We were still keen to keep as close to our original event dates as possible, so we gathered together a site team who worked diligently to get a website working in time for our September event. Cue Pete to the action. What do I mean? Well, I'm the primary site wrangler, and Pete to the Action by the Stupendium was a new release at the time. Five Nights at Freddy's is, unfortunately, my special interest, and in my sleep-deprived, autistic, hyper-focused rage, I decided that if Pete to the Action was not played on loop, the website was not going to happen. By some miracle, we only have delayed the event by 2 weeks from our original planned date. Thank you, Stupendium. Everyone say thank you, Stupendium, in chat. Since then, we've run our events through our website with only some minor horror stories about hosts, site transfers, and tech issues. Whatever happened, we're still standing, we're still here. Thank you, Stupendium.
About to say one. We've had several, but
One,
you
don't
know.
worry about it.
Just one.
Don't
We
worry.
promise.
Just one, we promise.
So, what's the point in us telling you all of that? So, the point that we're trying to make is that projects aren't without their issues one way or the other. We like to think that, at least on the surface, CreativeClash has seemed like a decently put together event by staff who've been mostly professional. Even if in reality there's been several moments behind the scenes where we're running around like headless chickens, screaming into the void and wondering what the absolute fuck is going on. We've included our story here just in hopes that we inspire at least one of you to give running your own event or project a try, and it might be scary, you'll definitely face road bumps, but it's important that you keep going if it's something you really want to see exist in the world. Which brings us on to the sage advice that we'd like to impart on you from 5 years? Almost 5 years of us running this event. We aren't claiming any kind of exclusivity over this kind of event, and we'd really love to see more people running things of their own. We obviously went the route of running it on a website that needs to be maintained, but it's very easy to get started for absolutely no money at all. A lot of our advice can kind of apply to other projects as well, like bangs or exchanges or zines, but we'll be focusing more on how to run a competitive creative event like ours, where people submit creations to score points. Just a note as well, we won't be going into heavy detail about anything we do that relies on us having our own website, paid plugins, or a dedicated tech team. The information is going to put emphasis on what you can do quickly, cheaply, and relatively easily. So in this section, we'll just cover the following, which is how to pick a platform to host your server on, your event on, how to handle event signups, how users can showcase their characters, how to receive submissions and score them, how to recruit and manage mods and staff, and how to advertise your event. So let's get started with finding a platform to host on. Now, this will entirely depend on what content you want to allow in your event, as different platforms have different content guidelines they allow. So you need to ask yourself several things, such as, do you want to allow adult content? Do you want to allow kinky content? If you want to allow kinky content, then do you want to allow extreme kinks or just the, in quotes, tame ones? Are you going to allow complete fictional freedom, or will you need to put some kind of limit on it? So here's some examples, along with some pros and cons for each, starting with probably the most obvious one, which is Discord. Discord, the pros are that most people will be incredibly familiar with it. The channels are easy to set up and organize. Added benefit of it being a social platform, so people can chat as well. And it can have images directly uploaded onto it, as well as some bot functionality. The one that we started on was Dreamwidth, with the benefits of this one being that it does allow all fictional content on their platform. The blog posts allow for customization. Communities feature is great to use for events, by which I mean you can have your own personal account, but then like a community group as well. Which is what we used, and the tagging system is pretty robust and easy to search for. The cons is that it's not very user-friendly for people who aren't familiar with this kind of blogging platform. It's used primarily for blog posts, so while it works for submissions, it may be hard to showcase users' characters, and images need to be hosted offsite and embedded due to the site's limited storage. Whoops, I pressed the wrong button there. And there's also limited scope to ping and tag users with attacks, which is one reason we moved away from the platform. The how to pick a platform to host your event on, with web forums, by which we mean, I don't know how you pronounce this. I say JSync, so correct me if I'm wrong here, but JSync, InVision, ProBoards, etc. The pros is that you can create forms and categories for everything that you need. There's not really a limit to that. Posts can be formatted and customized as the users wish. And it's easy to port content that's against the rules because a lot of these places have built-in moderation features. The cons is that different forum hosts will have different rules. Most will have specific restrictions on adult content, which we found just from a brief overview when we were checking. Many people aren't familiar with how forums work, and once again, images need to be hosted off-site and embedded. In general, we don't recommend hosting an event entirely through something like Blue Sky, Tumblr, or other similar social media pages. For how we run events, these platforms kind of make it hard to keep track of signups, submissions, and the like. We're not saying it's impossible, because we do know that there are similar events that run purely on social media, but it just doesn't work for our particular methods. We also deeply stress the importance of reading terms of service, community guidelines, and content policies of any space you decide to run your event on. Every space is different. Every platform is going to have restrictions. It's important for you as the host and the organizer to make sure that your event is adhering to the rules of whatever platform you pick. And how to handle event signups. I'm gonna pause for a drink and let you just absorb our cute mascots here that we've used for different teams of art in the past.
I'm very biased. I love our mascots. They're all excellent.
Our mascots are great. And this isn't in my script, but just a note, you don't have to come up with mascots for your team, but we do because we're extra creative and it's cute.
And we can't stop the graphics team if we tried.
Honestly, we come up with team ideas and they just go ham. Right, how to handle event signups. In my opinion, the easiest and most ideal format for this kind of competitive creative event is to split people into 2 teams. Any more than 2, and it becomes awful to organize, and having no teams at all creates a very different kind of competitive event where people are competing against every other participant instead of just one team. Having teams mean that people are collectively working together towards a common goal and kind of instills more of a sense of community and camaraderie, working together kind of thing. Team selections. So how do you pick the teams or allow people to pick what teams they are? For our event, we allow people to pick their own teams, with the option of having staff pick for them if they want it left to chance. If someone doesn't choose a team and leaves it to us, then we usually put them on the team with the least participants. We may also close signups to a particular team if there's a big difference in member numbers, just to make sure that the teams are as even as we can get them. This is the best way that we've found to try and give participants the option of picking which team they want, but also controlling the numbers as best we can. Disallowing participants to make any choice at all could work in your favour if you want to ensure a really even participant split, but may result in people being unhappy that they're not on a team they liked better or aren't with or against the people that they wanted to be. Leaving it truly random really isn't recommended, as you can end up with incredibly skewed numbers. Sign-up forms. You'll need something for people to fill out or reply to so you can track who's actually taking part in the event. This way, both you and the other participants know who is officially a viable target for attacks, and you know who is on which team. Again, how you do it may depend on the platform you're running your event on. So for Discord, you could make a channel dedicated to people saying what team they sign up for, or making a post where people can emote react with the team they're picking. Dreamwidth, you can make a post where people can reply to saying which team they sign up for. Similarly, web forums, you can make a forum thread that people can reply to. Google Forms or similar sites that offer that option could be an option for you as well, especially if it has a feature that automatically changes replies into a spreadsheet. And tracking signups. Don't have a slide for this, but basically the easiest way to track a signup is through a list or a spreadsheet. If you're unfamiliar with how spreadsheets work, then a simple list, just like noting down who's who and what they sign up for, is perfectly suitable. If you know how to do spreadsheets though, or are willing to learn, And then formulas can really assist you in working out numbers for you. What we'll be doing is we'll be including a copy of our team's spreadsheet for your use, which comes in the bundle that we'll provide a link to later on. That has a built-in formula for counting team numbers, so you don't have to do it manually. All you need to do, regardless of what method you choose, is note down the username of the person signing up and what team they've been assigned. Ideally, you should also keep track of the number of members on each team. That way you can make the teams as balanced as possible. Imbalanced teams can result in skewed scores where one team has a greater advantage than the other. This can still happen even with balanced teams, if some people decide that they're going to spend the entire month drawing and the other team just doesn't have as much time. But in theory, with equal member numbers, it should be a more even playing field. And the next important thing is, how can users showcase their characters? So now you know who's going to be taking part, you need a way for them to actually post up what characters they want to put up as targets. For our purposes, we'll call someone's character collection their hub. This is a showcase of characters that they want to offer up like sacrifices for other people to attack and make content of. We heavily recommend making it mandatory to include some kind of preferences list within their hub. This allows them the opportunity to list things that they're not okay with, things they don't want to see. You never know what someone is or isn't comfortable with unless you ask, and having something as basic as a preferences list is a good way to make sure people aren't gifted something they don't want. On the flip side, listing content they like may give another participant inspiration for their attack. We also recommend giving participants a basic template to follow for what information should be included with their characters. In our event, we require a minimum of a character name and highly recommend a reference image. Many people have a gallery of characters such as on a toy house, and we suggest allowing them to link to this offsite kind of profile, especially if the character has multiple references or has a very extensive profile information. Like our list before, how to showcase things will depend on what platform you're using. So on Discord, you can make a channel that's threads only or use the forum feature, which is good for giving people individual space to make a character gallery. On Dreamwidth, you can allow people to make individual posts that are submitted to your community, which will have their showcase on. Adding a central post in addition to this, which lists all of the submitted galleries, means that there'll be a central navigation location, and you can also use tags to mark people's hubs that they've submitted. And on web forums, making a character-specific forum where participants can have their own individual threads to put their hubs in. Because we use forum software, this is what we have on our website. And how to receive submissions and score them. All of this is my artwork, by the way, because I didn't want to ask anyone to use it in the presentation. So we're not going to go into minute detail about how to create a scoring system from scratch, as that would be a whole panel in of itself and involves a lot of numbers. Our own point system is constantly undergoing tweaks and changes as we receive feedback and figure out what works or doesn't work. However, we are going to provide a breakdown of our points scoring system in one of the resource documents that we'll be providing if you want a place to get started. So you're more than welcome to just copy that if you want to run your own event. For illustrations, your scores are going to be based on the following. What the character is cropped to, such as a portrait, half body, or full body, whether the lines are sketchy and messy or polished and clean, whether it is or isn't coloured, what level of shading or rendering it has, and whether or not it has a background and what that background consists of. For writing, if you want to include this as an option, it will primarily just be based on the word count and what the calculation you want to make based on the word count. Then, like with everything else so far, how you receive your submissions will depend on what you're using as a platform for your event. 2 seconds, my screen's frozen. Wouldn't be a panel if there wasn't any kind of tech issues, isn't there?
We're too powerful, we had to be nerfed.
There we go, now it's caught up. Whatever you decide, you will need some kind of form for your participants to fill out so they can provide their information to you. And you'll want a quick and easy way of gathering the details you need to score for the points. The form can be something as simple as this, which is the username, which is the username of the submitter. If you are submitting the form, that would be your username. The opponent, which would be the username of the person that they are attacking, who is the owner of the character in their artwork or writing. And the submission, which would be a link to the submission, or they could attach it to the post if you've got content upload allowed. You may want to ask the participant to provide a breakdown of their submission, especially because with illustrations, as art styles can vary. For example, one artist's sketch lines could be someone else's clean lines, which I've just included a demonstration of there. And mostly I'm mentioning this because I had this issue with Bastard's submissions in one event, where I kept saying it was clean and Bastard said it was sketch. So this will entirely depend on your art preferences and your art style.
Yeah, I just want to interject here with something a little funny. So we use this art because this is my art, okay? And I bully Digi constantly about. So I would submit colored sketches, and he'd be like, "Oh, cool, line art," and I'm like, "Buddy, no, that's a sketch." He's like, "No, it's clean." I'm like, "No, it's a sketch." Almost every single time.
Yeah, every single time as well. But again, just listen to, especially with art, listen to the artist and have a discussion if you're not sure how to score it. Essentially, it's never going to be straightforward. There's always going to be some leeway, and have a chat. The idea of a close community is you can actually talk to them and discuss them. But how can you receive the actual submissions? So on Discord, again, you can create a channel just for submissions and react to them when they've been counted. Or you can use a ticket bot like Ticket Tool, so people can submit them directly to staff. On web forums and Discord and Dreamwidth, for both of these, you can just create a post that people can reply to with their submission. You can also create a form using sites like Google or Airtable or anything similar so that participants can simply fill out the form and provide you with the file, because both of those have a direct upload option. And then you can make sure that you post the form, the link to the form, in a very easy to find place on your platform so it's easy to spot. Just a quick note, if you do use like a Discord ticket bot or some kind of Google form submission, it does mean that the submissions are anonymous and don't get posted publicly. So you may want to include a space where users can share their work with each other and have the ability to tag their opponents so that they are aware that they've had an attack on them. And the next thing we're going to go through is how to recruit and manage mods and staff. So whilst we're using words like staff and hiring, during this segment, we just want to stress that all of this is still volunteer work. We've all, CreativeClash is hired internally though, so we personally want our staff to like our event and are passionate about our community in some way. But this doesn't really work if you're starting a brand new event, because you don't really have the option of having a pre-existing pool of people to ask for help. So this is just a few suggestions to see what method would work for you. So working with your friends. If you have friends who have similar interests and passions, who like the idea of running an event, then working together can be a great option. You already know them, so there's less anxiety over working with strangers, and you should hopefully already have a good relationship with them. Hiring externally, so by which we mean putting a recruitment form or similar out to the public to request assistance. And this may give you a chance to find people who have different experience from different backgrounds and be able to provide a different point of view on organisation. We do say when putting out a recruitment form, it's important to set expectations for anyone who would be interested, so you must be clear about what the staff roles would involve. If you're not sure about what they would involve, be honest about that and explain that duties may change or that it's an evolving project that they can give their input on. And casually hiring refers to hiring outside of your friend group, but not going so far as to submit a form to fill out. So it kind of fits somewhere between the two options. You can ask friends for people they would recommend, post in Discord servers, on social media, etc., to ask for help informally, by which we mean getting people to DM you if they're interested, or just otherwise striking up a casual conversation with you. This is often less daunting for you and other people involved and can open up just conversations about ideas, duties, and goals. And this is possibly the best option for someone brand new to event running because it balances both finding someone that you get along with as well as someone who is actually interested in being a staff member. Just a few things to keep in mind about managing your team though. You need to ensure that you and your team can work together in a professional capacity. Disagreements within the staff group don't always reflect on any friendship held or vice versa, and this applies regardless of if you've hired your friends versus hiring a stranger. You also need to ensure that your staff treat participants professionally. Certain comments or in-jokes may land well within your staff group, but not every new user joining your event will know you or understand how you act. For example, joking about how they should delete this I hate you will land differently with an unfamiliar stranger than a familiar staff member. We highly recommend setting the rule that any moderation actions taken by staff should remain within the staff team. Don't discuss these outcomes publicly. It's both a good security measure and prevents gossiping amongst the user base. Mod actions aren't a PSA. They're supposed to be professional and unbiased. It must be clear to your staff that this is voluntary work, as we mentioned before. People should be free to leave your project for any time, for any reason. Creating an environment of open communication is key to a good staff team, and this would also apply to participants who sign up. They shouldn't be forced to take part in your event if they no longer can take part. This open communication also applies to any issues that arise within the community or within the staff team itself. You must lay out ground rules on how said issues should be handled, such as having issues be raised by tickets if on a Discord server, or DMs, or emailed directly to you. With that in mind, you and your team must also get comfortable with the idea of people dropping out of your event or not being interested. People come and go. Lives get busy. You're all adults, and it won't necessarily be a reflection on you or your event. It's important to keep in mind that regardless of what happens, don't take things personally. People are allowed different opinions. They're allowed to give feedback and criticism where it's appropriate. Anything, good or bad, mentioned to you can be used to improve your event. Oh, apparently I had a slide for that and forgot to switch over to it. That's my bad. Whoops. You would forget something. And moving on from that, now that you've got all that in place, how are you going to advertise yourself and how are you going to get your word out? So you've got to market yourselves. And to do that, got a few suggestions. Community promotions. By this we mean finding like-minded communities and advertising yourself to that community. The main example would be such as finding a Discord server about similar events and posting about your event in their promotion channel. You could find creators on social media who are doing promotion posts and commenting on them with advertisements about your event, or finding a trending promotion tag on social media and using those on whatever media post that you do. This is more targeted advertisement, as you're specifically aiming for a portion of your potential audience that the event would appeal to the most. If you're running a creative event, posting it in an art Discord server would work. If you're focusing on a particular fandom, you can find fandom tags on social media to use, so stuff along those lines. Always make sure you're following the rules of the community you're posting into if they have any. Make sure you don't spam, but keep talking about your event where you can. Posting updates and reminders is good because people are forgetful. I mean, a lot of us have ADHD. As soon as I go off the page, it's gone. So, and for other reasons, they may just miss your first post. Social media is the easiest way to get the word out. Different platforms will have different demographics, but some people may find some platforms easier to use than others. We can't really comment on all the difference between all the social media platforms. There's far too bloody many of them these days, because we're limited by our own knowledge and our own experience. If you're using social media, the main thing is to decide if you're using your own account or if you'll be making an event-specific account. From our experience, we personally recommend making an event-specific account just to keep things separate and relevant to your event. We'll be honest, it's going to be a lot harder to promote your event without any kind of social media account. A lot of people find it difficult to navigate spaces that aren't social media, and it'll be a struggle to find some people for your event. You don't need to have an account on every platform though if you don't want to. If that's too much, just pick one platform that either you use the most yourself or that you think would have the best audience for your event. So for example, you could just pick Tumblr or just pick Blue Sky or Mastodon or whatever. We don't even use our own social media account that often, but it has been useful to just have pages to refer people to in order to find our information, or just for people to quickly share us to their friends. On social media, don't be scared to keep posting about the same thing. On most platforms, you're going to be fighting against some kind of algorithm to even be seen. And even if there isn't an algorithm, then people still exist in different time zones or work schedules and can very easily miss a post that you make. And word of mouth is a tricky one because you can't control how people talk about you or how word is spread. But we're mentioning this as this is primarily how CreativeClash has acquired new members. It's more likely to happen after you run one event. If participants have a good time, they'll want to tell their friends about it, and as you continue to run events, more and more people will talk about it. To make it easy for people to spread the word for you, we recommend having links to your event in an easy access place. For example, if you have a social media account, then have your details or instructions pinned as your first post. Or if you have several different links, then consider making a link tree or a card to put all of those links in one location, which is useful for people just sharing your info. Don't rely on word of mouth to promote your event, but don't forget about it either. And this is where we recommend some resources. Now, one of the things we just want to give some advice on is these three things: document hosting, image hosting, and website hosting. For documents, now Google does have a lot of great resources for document sharing, such as docs, sheets, forms, and all that stuff. You can also make a basic website on there. There's a lot of things you can use at no cost, and it's great for first-time event runners. I mean, personally, we use Sheets all the time for our point counting and scoring, as well as forms for staff recruitment. However, if you want an alternative that doesn't support AI, is actively taking improvement suggestions from its community, and is created with fandom at the forefront, we highly recommend Ellipsis for word processing. It's still in active development, but it's fully usable, and it's much like Google Docs, where you can create a document and share it with people for viewing or collaboration, and it even has some built-in snippet functions for fic writers out there. And currently, it's what I'm reading my script from, because it's been very useful. Now, image hosting, we personally recommend Squidge, which is images.squidge.org. This site is specifically for personal or fandom use only, so it's not for commercial use, if you have like a commercial website. They're also highly against generative AI, and they make active efforts to keep scraping bots away from their platform. We don't recommend using Discord for image embedding, as the image links expire after a short time, and this will break the image where it was embedded. It's fine if you're uploading and running everything through Discord, because those images will still be there. This is specifically referring to uploading to Discord, copying the image link, and using that image link on a different website. And we also don't recommend Imager, which is another vote you can say. How do you pronounce Imager? We don't recommend it. It's been blocked in some countries. I mean, I'm in the UK. I've found out that embedded images from Imager I can't actually view without a VPN on. And it's reported been slowly killing embedded links because they want to move away from hot links. I believe they posted that in one of their announcements last year as well. So just be mindful if you still use those websites. And for website hosting, so we've not really gone into detail about hosting your event on a website, but some of you might want to use a website or similar as a central location to have all of your documents or information. NeoCities is one that we recommend. As in the slide here, it's like old school GeoCities if anyone's old enough to remember that. I'm showing my age here. There's no website builder built into it, so you do need to have some knowledge of HTML or similar, but there's many resources online to help you with HTML coding, and it would be the most customizable way to have a website if you want to do it that way. But if you're just after a place to post your links and a few pretty pictures, then Card is very user-friendly and comes with a website builder built in. Both of these options are free, but have paid options if you want to have some additional benefits and uses. So what resources can we give you? We've put together a bundle of resources that are available for your use if you want to run your own competitive creative event like ours. You don't need to credit us. We don't need our name anywhere on there. Not mine, not CreativeClash's, that's fine. Just don't claim them as yours. They're available on the link on the slide here, so xcreativeclashx.net/free stuff. And we've also posted them in our discussion den thread, which is the same name as our panel. It includes a document detailing our points scoring system, a team sign-up sheet that's based on Google Sheets that automatically calculates participant numbers, a spreadsheet automatically calculating points based on the system that we've detailed, a separate spreadsheet which acts as a public calculator for your participants, which is also based on that point system, and we'll be uploading a written copy of this how you can run your own event section of the panel, which is not currently on there, but it will be following the panel. Also, if you do look at any of these resources and you are struggling to understand them, you're welcome to contact me via DM on Discord. My username is Digital Popsicle. My DM should be open to people who share the same server as me. Or you can email us on our event email, which is xcreativeclashx@gmail.com, which is great for help if when CitrusCon ends and you can't get hold of me or ask in this place. And so we thank you for listening to our weird little story, and we hope at least some of the advice we've given you has inspired at least one of you to make an event of your own. Or even if it hasn't, you're welcome to pass along these resources to someone else you think might find them useful, because we really want to make them as widely available as possible. I believe our panel is also being recorded and will be uploaded on YouTube, I believe, which we'll be linking to on the free stuff part of our website once it's over. If you're inspired, the last bit of advice we can give you is to start small, make it manageable for yourself. Don't expand beyond what you're capable of handling. It's very easy to get overwhelmed or to make it bigger than you originally planned in your own hype and enthusiasm for it. We've built our community up slowly over time, primarily through word of mouth, like we mentioned, and very little advertising in comparison. It's okay to start small, but aim for bigger. Now, that's the scripted part of our panel over, and I believe Bastard's been collecting any questions that you may have had. So if you do have any questions, feel free to keep posting them in chat.
Great. So, I will do this formally and properly. We got asked, are we still using Liberato as a host? And yes, we are actually. They've been great. They are volunteer run. So if you have any technical questions or anything, just be aware that no one there's getting paid. It's completely volunteer, so give them a couple days.
Yeah, they've always been very responsive to any tickets that we've raised, even if it's just acknowledging that they've seen it and they're looking into it, and they do have a good chat with us back and forth. So we are aiming to stick with them as long as possible. They've been a very good host for us over the years.
I want to just big them up a little bit, just a tiny bit more. Sorry. So
go for it, because they've been great.
We had a situation where something had gone a little bit balk with uptime on the site, and we weren't sure what was going on. And I was really ill. I just had top surgery, and I had an internal chest infection. I was not doing so hot, and I basically said to the Liberato guys, look, I'm really ill. I don't know what my hands are right now, let alone what a website
Oh,
is. And they were like, it's okay, we'll handle it for you. And they did. They just handled it for me completely. They are brilliant.
I still have those support tickets saved to our email. You were not wording properly either.
No, they somehow knew what I meant.
Yeah, they were like, okay, we'll do it for you, because they were basically trying to explain how we could do it, and Bastard very, very sickly just went, I can't do this right now. So they fixed it for us. Technically they shouldn't have done, because it's not their job, it's ours as the website people, but they fixed it. They're great.
They're great.
What's the next question?
Where can we donate to CreativeClash? And I'm grabbing the links to put in chat.
I was about to say, I think I preempted this question because it's on the final thing here. We've got a another vote. How do you pronounce this? Coffee or Kofi? Because I'd say both, but it's kofi.com/CreativeClash. If you do like us, we do accept donations. It costs, I mean, we've got it on our website actually. It costs what, like $600 a year to keep running?
Yeah. Between
like
600 and 700, depending on like conversion rates and stuff, because we pay.
Yeah.
Because we're GBP. Me and Digi are GBP. So
Pound.
between 600 and 700.
Yeah, because just a sort of like a side note to that, we have done this based on you running an event for free. We don't want you to pay out of pocket straight away. We have built up to this, and our community is very nice in keeping us funded, essentially, so that we can get these customized parts of it. So don't think that you need to do this straight away. Like, it is absolutely fine to do things for free.
Okay, couple of rapid fires. Do you get special badges or roles for anything in the server, the website, for donating? Yes, we have badges. We made badges, and there is one absolute legend out there that has a gay rainbow badge because they've donated like £400 or something over the course of the past few years.
We have to keep making them, because we've got. So this is not for you to aim for in any way. This was just, we needed to do something for these nice people that kept donating to us. But we had a standard donor badge. And then we had a super donor badge for a handful of people that were constantly donating. And then we had to make that third badge for the legend who just was like, have my money, I want you to keep going. And we're just tiny in the corner, okay, I guess. Our community is freaking great. I mean, as established, I think we've got a lot of you in the chat over here. The badge is just pay to win.
Yeah, the rainbow badge is gate kept. Sorry, folks.
We really don't want people to donate that much to us.
Yeah, please. This isn't an encouragement, but just as a thanks to them, How does Liberato compare price-wise to other web hosts in terms of what's considered typical? Liberato is very cheap. Because they are cheap. Because they are completely volunteer run, and they're not trying to make any money. They're incredibly cheap. I'd say we pay around $15 to $20 a month, and we have more resources than we need for the website because we've scaled to have a few thousand active users just on the safe side, because it's really not that much. So I'd say hosting it costs $20 a month. If we were being really conservative, it'd be like $12.
I've just spotted the chat. Digi, what's your favourite fruit? Peach and mango. They're my favourite. What's yours? What's your favourite fruit, Bastard?
Present Mike from My Hero Academia, as I said earlier. Probably pizza.
Someone said, compared to DreamHost for Liberato, I actually don't know because I've never used DreamHost.
DreamHost is also pretty cheap. I personally would trust Liberato a bit more. But DreamHost is also a good choice if you're more familiar with it. They have more of a GUI that's easier to use. That's a user interface, like a graphical user interface. Whereas Liberato is more like shell and command line. Still easy to use, and they'll still help you though.
Yeah, I have no idea what the Liberato side of things. It's my name on there, but you're the one that goes into it.
Thank you, Clover. The software we're using, Envision, beholden to the terms of service. Because we self-host, we can get away with a little more. and we've had no issues with them. But yeah, generally speaking, like we're fine where we are. We've done extensive research into it all. Yeah, so we're all above board. Just got to make sure you're above board where you're hosting and all that jazz.
Yeah, we've scraped over several terms of services and had to make adjustments with some content that we had to disallow for a while. So we are as on board as we can do because we don't want to be shut down essentially.
Right. We had a question here. How do you guys come up with the lore for the mascots? And also, what mascots did you guys having the most fun with making? And a follow-up to that was a very enthusiastic Kree backstory.
The lore for the mascots kind of just happens. Like, I barely have any say in it. The most that I personally do is I've made a list of team name recommendations that we've had, like, not just just immediately, just like over the years. I'll then put those team names to the mod team to select, like, I think I give people, like, what are your top 8? And then of all of the team, I pick the top 4 that people liked. We then take those 4 team suggestions to the public, who then votes on the names. And usually after like a little bit, we can already tell which names are going to be the most popular. After which I then pass them to the graphics team to say, these are more than likely going to be the team names that we go with. Let's start figuring out mascots. And just a note, we only do mascots for CreativeClash, like the one of the 4 events that we do a year, because otherwise that's a lot of work to really do for like every single time. So CreativeClash, we just kind of put most of our creative energy into. And so the lore behind it is just, it's based on whatever the graphics team fancies. And there's not much more to it than that. Kree, however, is my creation because they've been our mascot since the very, very beginning. The idea, well, the species, I suppose, in a loose way, is just they are made of paint. They can be or do whatever they want to be because they're made of paint. It's why you've seen some of the little images in here. They might be a furry, or they might be a blob, or they might be Gudetama. They can change their form in any way, and similarly, they're they because they can be whatever gender they want as well, or whatever. They're just a cute little blob that we have as our mascot, and because they're so flexible, it means that we can use different art styles, or make them be different creatures, and just have fun with them like that. Not really much of a backstory to them, other than just, I made a character one day made out of paint.
Oh, the call out about Kree, sorry. So Moss has just said a call out we got about Kree. So Kree, short for creative, someone was really stretching like the bounds of their imaginations to call us problematic, right? And they were like, oh, has anyone noticed how they've called their character Kree? Like the Native Americans called the Kree. It's like, it's all for creative, man.
Yeah.
Not...
or could just be a noise that you make.
Yeah. Yeah, it was they had to hate the little paint blob somehow, man. They've got to be hated.
Yeah, like the early days of us running was the height of that art fight drama, and people saw that we were trying to make an event and just wanted to basically say that we were an issue, but obviously we ignore it and just carry on and don't really engage with trolls. And, you know, Tree's still here. Everyone loves them. They're just a cute blob of paint.
Probably the most important question of this whole panel, Digi. Okay. If all the mascots were available to appear in Smash, who would you nominate?
Can I say something? I don't play Smash.
Okay. Personally, it would have to be the birds, but like as a duo. Like they hold wings that spin each other like it's Soul Eater.
To be fair, if it's fighting things, I'd want to see the mimics that we did for Trash and Treasure.
Actually, that'd be pretty fun too, yeah.
Because the mimics for Trash and Treasure were great. So for that, there was 2 people who had mimics as their pets. And so the Trash one was a giant, like, trash dumpster that had glass for teeth and chains. and the treasure one was like a more normal treasure chest that had like gold and ribbons and all of that. So I'd pick those two, because even though like the trash one looks like it'd fight more, you'd know the treasure one would fuck you up.
This is true, yeah.
Like the treasure, like I'm thinking more fighting rather than smash, but the treasure one lures you in, and the trash one then fucks you up.
That's pretty good strat, actually.
Hydra just said deep space or deep sea for them. Which, to be fair, giant space monsters are great.
That'd be like a trophy. You like bring in the trophy, and then like they both come in either side of the screen.
Yeah, we had another question that I think I missed. There we go. Paragon, he said, how do you all balance your creative jobs with your slog and survive ones? Maybe projecting. I want to run some creative events, but work takes so much time. I wanted to go back to that one because I think that's actually really important. The answer is don't take on too much at once, because both of us have done that before, and both of us have regretted that.
I will say, CreativeClash at the start had the buff of me being super unemployed. So don't like take all of we've done as like the baseline. I was like supremely unemployed dealing with a spine injury, so that's why we got so much done so fast.
I'll also say at the beginning days, whilst I was employed, I was working a night shift. That meant that I had a lot more spare time, and so I was actually on CC a lot just in my spare time. But the biggest thing is just you don't need to rush. You don't need to worry about when you're getting it out, because yeah, you can set yourself deadlines, but ultimately it's a volunteer job that you're not getting paid for. So if you have to push things back to get them done, then do it. The only thing you're going to be affecting at the end of the day is you, and if you are stressed about a thing that you're not getting paid for, then yeah, just put yourself first, essentially. Sometimes creative juices flow and sometimes they don't. Just work on it slowly. It's one reason why I had that big PSA at the end of the panel as well. It's just you don't need to go really big straight away. Just start small.
Hydra's got a good point as well. Like having a good mod team also really helped.
Yeah.
Like we have like two teams. We've got like admin and mod, and the only real difference is admins deal with drama and site stuff, and mods kind of like moderate the server and everything. Having that kind of team where everyone's chill and knows, they can step in if needed, helps a lot. Like we can confidently step away from CC when we both bugger off into the woods, so I can chase people with foam swords all weekend. We can confidently leave CC to the team, and we know we'll come back. It's going to be okay.
Yeah. So when you're a lot smaller, you obviously don't need that big of a team to start off with, but if you do keep going and you do notice that you are growing in numbers, then make sure that your current mod team can actually handle that, and make sure that you're expanding accordingly. Because what we've done over time is, as soon as I've noticed that we're flagging a bit on things, I've then just popped into the mod chat being like, do we need more people? Because even if it's just people keeping an eye on things and checking in, that's still good moderation. You don't always need to actively be doing something, you can be passively checking as well. And because we've got that open communication, that's really good. Yeah, sizing up is so important with growing events. Like CreativeClash started with me and another person who, I'll be perfectly honest, I didn't know this other person when I started. It was a friend of a friend who said, yeah, I want to run an event, who sadly very quickly realized before we'd even started the first event that they couldn't actually keep going with it because they were too busy. So I was the primary admin with a handful of mods, and over time we've just expanded that mod team. So yeah, it's just keep an eye on things. Having a good support network is good. Have we got any more questions that we've missed? I'm seeing y'all talking in chat there. You've been given the breakdown.
Smash or pass, create smash. No hesitation.
Say it again and let me think of my first answer.
Smash or pass, create.
Smash.
Good. I'd hope so.
I'm not gonna lie. Mostly, I was thinking of the texture,
Fair enough.
and I was like, do I like slime that way?
Oh, random silly lore. I believe Moss came up with this term. But when we are needing to hop into the admin account of CC, like to post an announcement or whatever, we call it going into the Cree suit.
Yeah, so Worms asked, how do you pick ideas for the team names anyway? So I said I collect a list of the team names. So a bunch of them were actually suggested at the very, very, very beginning of CC when we first started the Discord server. I just shot into like the general chat, do people have ideas for team names, and basically made a list of them from there. Other than that, it's been some like mod suggestions or just some casual suggestions that the community's thrown out, and I've just kept a list of them and slowly added to them or taken away from them. Like, one of the things that we really try to do is, obviously Artfight is the main event that's similar to ours. We try to avoid using the same names as them, but also similar themes as them, because we just want to be completely separate. We don't want to be accused of copying or have anything like that. So anytime that they've had a similar name, I've taken that off of our list. I think the one time that we got close was we did Deep Space and Deep Sea at the same time as they did whatever the one was, Seafoam, which I think wasn't last year. I think it was the year before. Yeah, I remember the problem with Deep Sea and Deep Space.
Yeah, I mean, we had it first, and the mascots were already designed, so...
Yeah, we thought it was like different enough to keep going because ours was based on like sea and space as opposed to like sea foam and dust stuff. Yeah.
I heard my cat knock something over. Can you stop?
No, I just had to pull my cat off the desk in the middle of that when you were talking. Apparently, we're being asked, can we see cat? And I can post a picture of my cat shortly in the chat, if I can.
How many people are on the team? Oh god, hold on, let me go count. I can name people, I can't count them. Hold on. I don't want to just start naming names. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Nope. Hold on, I'm in the wrong chat. I've got the donut up, and that's usually in the admin chat. That's on the announcement.
So Moss, whilst you're looking at that, Moss asks, have we talked about handling callouts? We didn't talk about it because it's kind of a thing in of itself. I'm sorry, what was that?
16 people, including graphics. No, excluding graphics. We've got like 19 with graphics.
We have that many staff?
Yeah. We're big. We've got like 1,400 people on the site. To
be fair, whenever I say staff, I only ever think of the admin and mod teams because we have admins, which, like we said, is mostly the ones that run the back end of things. We've got mods who help moderate the community server. We have a graphics team who pitch in to help us with the graphics that are needed for, like mascots and other bits and pieces. We have a site team, which is specifically a couple of techie people who help us with like the IPS software and other things that we don't know about. And we've recently taken on some volunteer points counters so that because we were realizing that we are too busy to do points counting with the sheer number of submissions that we're now getting. So we had a handful of volunteers that were just, I'll just sit in and fill in a spreadsheet for you. So they're really, really good. So, yeah, I will admit, I forgot that added all together, we do have a fairly large team.
Mm-hmm.
And just to go back about the call-outs thing, the best way to handle a call-out is to ignore it, really. If it's on you specifically, and you know that you didn't do anything wrong, ignore it and move on. Because the majority of call-outs, I will say these days, are just people getting butthurt. But we do have an idea for another panel next year, which may go into this a bit further about like spotting, I say shit call-outs, the ones where people are just stirring drama and that stuff. So we do want to go into that in more detail. It's just going to be more information than we can really go into with the time we've got left. Did you expect CreativeClash to get as big as it is? Fuck no.
So I wasn't on the original team, right? I joined. I came in, during the first event. When I was taken on first at mini games while then a mod, I was like, okay, this is probably going to run for like another year or two. This will be fifth main event, sixth main event this year.
We've been running
huge.
5 years. This will be our 6th Creative Clash.
Yeah, so we didn't expect this to scale as quickly as it did. The call out post helped scale as quickly as it did because we had like 3 big ones, and every single time people were like, "Oh, cool! Finally, someone sane," and then they hop in.
So, I have been keeping like tabs of how many signups that we get each year, just because I'm like a number nerd sometimes with data. So, our very first event, we started off with 129 people signing up just for the event. Last time, which was last September, we had 327 people sign up. So that's quite a big jump, and that's not counting how many people are just on our Discord server, because I think our Discord server's got like 500 people in it.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's insane how big this has got, because I say from the very start, I started this at a spite because I wanted to do an event that I liked and that didn't have the restrictions that other events did. And from that source of spite, it has ended up in this, and I'm still blown away and stepping back being like, people like this. People like what we've made. I remember a question I think Moss was asking in over in the mod chat before, which was what's our most memorable thing about Creative Clash so far?
That's actually that's a tough question.
I don't know if this is a good or bad thing, but last event we had two times that we were mentioned on TikTok.
Oh God, yep.
One time was people saying don't join our event, and another time was someone saying, oh yeah, Art Fight's over, but if you want another event then join Creative Clash. And yeah, Moss, we have that one fear meme. It's like, no fears, TikTok, one fear. We had an exorbitant number of people signing up for our website that we actually had.
Was not like 120 odd people over a week.
So in the course of a month, we got over 200 new member signups. It was ridiculous. But thing is about that, we manually go through every single registration because we manually check all the new members, because we're very, very tight on security to make sure that we're allowing people into our community that we know aren't going to hurt it. Sometimes we're a bit overcautious, but it's for good reasons. So the fact that we manually had to go through every single new member, majority of which hadn't really read what the event's about because they just thought, lol, I saw it on TikTok, this seems cool. And I'm not going to lie, the majority of those ended up being rejections because they just hadn't read the rules and read what we were about. That's when we made a big adjustment, and because the admins used to originally only be the ones handling the verifications, with the mod teams just handling the Discord. And we actually had to expand it to both teams looking at verifications, just so that we could cover this sheer amount of numbers that we had. It was like last year was crazy. Like there was a big surge of people following Art Fight, then being like, I want more, and so they joined Creative Clash.
I think my favorite sign up, and this is like a spam account, so I can talk about this. It was basically just like a bot that goes around servers trying to do like a Clash of Clans scam.
Oh, the Clash of Clans person, that was so funny.
It was so funny. Shout out to that random spam account. I think about it often.
It was so funny because clearly they just found Clash and then thought, I'm going to join this. But it was, to be fair, I wouldn't even say it was a spam, because they actually clicked the button to join, to put their application through. So it wasn't like it was a Discord thing, it was a bot. They'd gone through our bot. And they were like, yep, I've read the rules. And I'm like, have you? I think I responded to them saying, are you sure you're in the right place?
So we got how many antis we're trying to raise. So we've only actually really had one attempt at it, and it was like one person who brought in a bunch of bots, and we were just like, okay, well, they didn't really get very far because we had like a gate, like you join, and then you've got to fill out an intro.
No, it was before that.
That was before then. Well, it didn't go very far either way because
it was in the first month that we ran. So this was before you were even on the staff.
Did it happen twice?
Well, the very first one that we had was before we actually had the verification process, where when you join our Discord server, you can't actually see anything else until we approve you. So that was like, it was a bunch of bot accounts. You know, like Discord servers actually have a built-in like raid detection now. It didn't at the time, so we basically shut down everything, banned all of these accounts, because thankfully I think it had like a mass ban of "we think this is a bot, get rid," and then implemented the gate system where you sit in one channel until we let you into the rest of it. But that was the first time we got it. I don't remember any other time, unless you're remembering something else about a smaller number, because that first one was like over 100 bot accounts.
Oh, because I think maybe I wasn't even in at that point, because we had one where we had them sitting in the verification channel, and they came in with like their main account and brought in a bunch of bots with them and tried to like deploy the script, and it just kind of didn't work because there was no permissions for the bots to latch onto because our roles were locked in tight. So they got maybe like 15 bots in, and that was their big hoorah. They couldn't even send messages.
Yeah.
Really, really epic troll. They really got us with that one.
Yeah, that was just funny. Are we missing any other questions?
Sitting the gay baby jail until like.
I mean, it is the gay. Yeah. It is the gay baby jail. Essentially, if you, our Discord server and our website are kind of similar. On Discord, you join the server. You can't post anything in any channel, but there is a button that basically says submit your application, and you'll fill in a form to answer our questions, which then gets manually submitted to us, and we will say yes or no based on what you submit. There is an option for us to DM you and ask further questions if we need to. But ultimately, read the rules and provide the information that we need. And if we have any issues, we'll chat to you. Like, if any of you want to join the Discord or the website following on from this, just mention that you found us on CitrusCon and that you heard our panel, and we'll have a chat to you about that as well if we need to. But the website is very similar, it's just obviously not attached to Discord. Yeah, as Targa said, please read the rules.
It probably sounds really intimidating, but it's not. Like, we're not shaking you down for your last like spare change or anything. It is literally just because we've had situations where people have like joined on the application and they've gotten to the question that's like, define profic, and they've gone, ew. It's like, okay, well then why are you here?
Yeah. Or so if we require social media so that we can verify that you're a real person. And we say certain accounts aren't allowed. Like, for example, we don't allow Instagram because all Instagram is a bunch of pictures. It doesn't really help. And so we're like, don't post Instagram links. Give us an Instagram link. I think someone once gave us a Facebook link as well.
Yes.
Some person gave us their LinkedIn account. That was wild.
That was, no, I remember that.
Yeah, LinkedIn. And it's like, Facebook's one thing, because I do know that some people use, like especially in non-English speaking countries, Facebook tends to be like something that some people use for commission work. But it's like you're giving a random person your personal information, and it's more personal on Facebook and even more personal on LinkedIn.
The LinkedIn was crazy.
I didn't look at the LinkedIn. I realized it was a LinkedIn link and was like, I'm not going to click on that. I don't want to know about you.
Yeah, we just like deleted that one outright.
Yeah, I think that was
that one. Just gone.
Yeah, so we actually wiped them completely from our records, because we're very, very particular about making sure we don't keep personal information that we don't need to, because privacy is a big issue on the internet these days. Thank you, Magpie, but I wouldn't trust us. Yeah, we have about 5 minutes left of the panel. Is there any other pressing questions that people have before we finish? Several people are typing, oh no. Armpits or feet? Neither.
Armpits. Okay.
I mean, so if we're talking furry, I'd go feet because paws are cute and I get to squish the beans.
I'm just into armpits, man. What can I say?
Fair. How does one discuss tie-in events involving the ARPG and the CC events? I don't quite know what you mean.
Oh, I can answer that one.
Okay.
You would open a ticket, and we will discuss that with you. Chances are, I've seen what you've been talking about. Chances are that's going to be completely fine. I'll probably be the one handling that ticket because I've got extensive experience in ARPGs. But yeah, if you just open a ticket, and I'll have a chat with you about that.
Yeah, that's fair. I was wondering who the heck it was, and then I went on their profile. I'm like, it's you. I've seen you. Yeah. Katia asked favorite CC mascot. I'm really partial to the mimics. I fucking love Trash Mimic.
Mine's Cree. I love Cree.
Yeah, Cree. So fair, Cree's the OG. Cree's there every time. Yeah, Moss says Mika. If anyone spotted the cat that was on the website panel, that's Moss's cat Mika. I told Moss to come to the panel because we had a surprise for them, and it was Mika.
We're very quick V1 of the website lore, I guess 1.0 lore. The first thing I did to test buttons was a surprise Mika button that would show a random picture of Mika.
Mika's the unofficial CC mascot.
Oh, I wish I still had the April Fool's Mika. We changed the banner of the website to CreativeClash coloured Mika.
We also decorated the site in pizzas following the release because of the Pizza the Action video.
Oh yeah, it's in my DMs the Moss. Hold on, I'm gonna go grab this. I know we're running out of time, but this is really important. There it is, Mika Clash. Hold on, it's coming.
Post that in the chat and that's it.
There we go.
Excellent. I forgot we'd done that, to be fair, because that's the old banner as well. But honestly, I will wrap it up here so that we don't accidentally go over. So thank you for tuning into our panel, everyone. I was actually really worried that no one would be interested and we won't have any questions, so this is nice.
It's been awesome being here.
Yeah, I actually got to be social.
Right.
Thank you guys so much for coming.
Yeah.
Bye, everyone.
Have a good rest of the convention, everyone.
Be free, my little yowlings.